Hey Alejandro, it's Khalid. I have trouble turning on my camera. It's not registering it, but just let me know if you need assistance, okay?
Let's just give it another minute or two and see who else joins in. But if not too many other people join in, we might keep this relatively short.
Understood.
Hey, Alejandra.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, thank you. How's everything?
It's going well. Just pretty zoomed out today. This is like I had two, 2 hours of Zoom meetings and then a 5 hour conference via Zoom. So this is like my like 8th hour of Zoom today.
Wow. That's like a full day for real on Zoom, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is I haven't done 5 hours straight, but this is number four. This is four. I just got finished telling a friend I zoomed out for real.
Yep.
How was your holiday?
It was good. It was good. Made a bunch of food.
Nice.
Although I started off the week of Thanksgiving with food poisoning. So,
Wow.
oh yeah, it was a very no good, bad week.
Well, you're here now, so it was good. You made it through.
Yes.
Had a pretty quiet holiday. Stayed distant from relatives. Myself and my girlfriend did a Cornish hen, two sides, and gave thanks for life. I mean, I'm thankful every day, though. You hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just me and well, that was the other aspect. Me and my partner split. Things are amicable. I had food poisoning, and me and my partner split on the same day.
Wow.
But no, everything's fine. So we had Thanksgiving dinner today, and I mean not today, on Thursday, and so it was fine. But you know, doing well.
I hear you making it through. Gracias a Dios. I just checked.
All right, so I think we have enough people to just go ahead and get started. I think on the previous meeting, um, I had discussed having the state attorney general's office. I had not had time to reach out given the holiday and my committee work on the district manager search committee. And I apologize for that. The district manager search committee has been taking up most of my extra time, but that should be wrapping up this month. So I'll be able to devote more time to the housing committee. Plus I was unsure of what would be going on with 960. Khalid, has there been any update at all from 960 Franklin from HPD or DCP?
Not at this time, Alejandro. I know that the ULIP committee next week will be going over any updates that we received from, or at least the court updates regarding 960 Franklin Avenue, but nothing new has come into the office as of yet. I know that that Fred and Mia are supposed to be having a discussion with a representative from DCP, but that hasn't happened as of yet either. So we're still on standby.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when that does come in, we'll be taking part in the review process to assess the affordable housing portion of the proposal. I don't know exactly when we'll be getting I mean, there's the court case, there's been multiple revisions. They're supposed to be giving us 30 days advance notice ahead of final certification. They weren't originally going to do that. I don't know if they're going to do that now before they finally certify. We have no idea. It's been basically radio silence from DCP. So it's basically up in the air when the final certification happens. As soon as it happens, I will inform the rest of the committee, and we can pass it out and spend the next meeting reviewing the affordable housing portion, and then issuing our recommendation based on just the housing portion. Beyond that, there was there's been a city council resolution to update housing code laws to require sprinklers in buildings that are 4 stories or higher that were previously exempted. And this was sparked by not to create a pun, the fire at the Trump Tower, because Trump Tower was built before there were stricter sprinkler requirements. City Council was looking to pass a new bill. I believe they passed it, but they're looking to amend it and change it, because what's happening is that it's buildings that are over 4 stories, which include some 5 and 6 story row houses in our community and other communities around the city. And as a result, some single family homeowners and others that are in duplexes or triplexes that rent out the other portions could be liable for $50,000 to $60,000 in renovations, and could face heavy fines and potentially lien sales as a result of the failure to upgrade their sprinkler systems. And there's also concerns about damage to unique aspects of the building. Some older row houses have tin ceilings that are original, and installing sprinklers will cause damage to that. And so there's a lot of community action across the city to get exemptions and change the particular bill, because I think that the initial aim was for multi-story skyscrapers and buildings, that are usually owned by wealthier developers, not necessarily single family homeowners and, landlords with less than, 3 or 4 units. And so that's, I had been informed of that by the Vice Chair Warren Burke. I don't know if anybody else wanted to discuss it or had any thoughts on the issue. I can post the article for everyone to look at. Just give me 1 second. And it's in the chat. Did anybody have any wanted to comment on this particular issue or have any thoughts?
I was just interested in knowing what was the bill's name. This is the first I'm hearing of this. By the way, I'm Quinton. I'm from East Flatbush Village, Inc. It's my first time joining one of the community meetings.
Yeah, welcome. It is intro 1146B. So let me type it in there. So that's the particular bill. You know, as a housing committee, we can, you know, issue a resolution disapproving or recommending that our city council members vote against, or to push for changes to exempt houses in our particular community. Or we have two, so we have Matthew Eugene and Lori Cumbo. That's an ability that we have as a committee. I don't know if there's any interest in doing so. We could, you know, put out a more formal hearing on it for the agenda in January. If anybody is interested in particular, I am, you know, I haven't heard anything about this, and you know, I think there may be some homes affected in Prospect Lefferts Gardens, and some in further out in Crown Heights, but I don't believe there's that many built row houses that are above 4 stories here. I could be wrong.
Thank you.
Okay. The other thing I could reach out to is, I don't know if this touches on any of the other committees. I mean, obviously this is a safety issue as well. You know, there are tenants that could potentially lose their lives because there aren't sprinklers in the building. And so I think there's a public policy kind of weighing of like the interests. So I can, what I'll do is I'll reach out to more folks on the community board to see if there's any particular interest in this issue, and then we can put it on more formally on the agenda for next month, and then we can either, you know, forego it or take a formal position.
Hey, Alejandro, really quickly,
Yeah.
you know, not sprinkler related, but FDNY and American Red Cross in the past has, you know, partnered with the board regarding, like, say, for example, smoke detector installation, free smoke detector installation, and carbon monoxide installations in apartments and homes, particularly for seniors. So, and that's been with the Public Safety Committee. So maybe perhaps you can get a chance to get in touch with Rabbi Yaakov Berman.
Yeah.
And then move forward with the sprinkler awareness, and maybe even getting in touch with American Red Cross and FDNY regarding such matters, if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good call. That's exactly who I was thinking of. You know, I'd like to hear, you know, both, you know, a lot of the different sides of this, because I think there's a significant public safety portion. But also we don't want to potentially risk homeowners losing their homes because they can't afford $60,000 worth of upgrades.
Right.
So I'll reach out to Yaakov over the next month and see if there's any interest in either kind of holding kind of a joint meeting or a joint portion of a meeting specifically this issue, or if Yaakov knows more about this. You know, and I think that that'd be important since that's an area that they've worked in the past.
Okay. I can set up the email correspondence for you tomorrow if you'd like.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so I think those are kind of just the general things I wanted to update 960 Franklin and this that was brought to my attention. I don't know if there's anything else in the community that's been going on. Oh, I think there's one, the very first eviction post-COVID has occurred. Last I checked, I was unsure of who exactly it was. It was somebody with an eviction warrant predating COVID. And there was a lot of pushback by political leadership calling for a halt to the evictions in general, particularly right now while we're experiencing another spike. You know, as far as I'm aware, there's still more, they're still not moving forward with post-COVID or post-March 16th filed eviction proceedings. So that may change, and I'm trying to keep it up to date with it as possible, but the situation is fluid. Even the housing attorneys are having a hard time keeping up with everything and how things are changing from borough to borough with different courts and state and federal and city mandates. So I'll keep up to date. I don't know if anybody else heard anything about, you know, in particular evictions or anything else. Okay. That being said, is there anything else in the community that anyone wanted to discuss or any other pressing issues?
Alejandro, I'm sorry I was late. I was getting kids to bed, but is it possible to give me a 1-sentence summary of the 960 Franklin item?
Yeah, of course. I was just saying that we basically haven't had a official update from DCP. Okay. So we're awaiting official certification. They're supposed to give us a 30-day, like a summary, a detailed summary 30 days before final certification. They were not going to do that last time. Previously, the certification date was November 16th. However, there was the intervening lawsuit filed by Alicia Boyd, and then there was a revision that was filed. So we don't know. We basically have had no communication from DCP. So, you know, they could certify anytime in the coming weeks, or it could be, you know, next year. We don't really know. And so our role as housing committee is just to wait till we get certification, and then we weigh and evaluate the final certification for the housing affordable housing component, and issue our recommendation based on that component.
Got it. Okay. I got an email from the Garden saying that it was moving into the ULURP phase. And this is my first year on the committee, and I wasn't sure what our role was in that process.
Right. So officially, the official recommendation goes through ULURP. However, we can review portions, and different committees can. So the environmental committee can review the environmental review portion. We can review the housing portion and issue our recommendations to ULURP. And ULURP has final say, and then ULURP makes its recommendation to the board, and then the full board votes, and then the recommendation goes to the city council member, who ultimately can toss aside the recommendation or move forward with it. I am not optimistic about, you know, if our community board is against this development, that our current city council member will heed that recommendation. So, you know, that's one aspect of it, but we still need, you know, we still have a role to play to make sure that our voices are heard, and that we can actually take a look and see what, you know, again, I'm very cynical and not optimistic at all about this process, but, you know, that's what our role is.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Alejandro, I wanted to ask you about the Know Your Rights training that we were going to try to get going. And is that, if I recall, is that what we wanted to involve the AG's office in? I know you've had your hands full, and I definitely could reach out to a couple of people, whether it be our chief of staff, Ibrahim, or community relations guy, Timothy, or something. That's something that we could communicate about offline with regards to getting somebody online to do that training, if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. And I previously we're hoping to do a Know Your Rights training today on deed theft and lien issue, housing lien issue. But again, like, I'm chair of another committee and we're in the final stages of finishing up the district manager search process. So I've been tied up with that. But I think we can move forward. And if you're willing to help, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. Try to get it on for January. I just want to kick it with you for a second so I have all the details I'm asking for offline or whatever, and we can make it happen.
Yeah. Could you, I think I took it down last time, but if you could just put your email in the chat, you can just private message me. And okay. Thank you all so much. That's really helpful.
No doubt.
Okay. I should have some time tomorrow during the early in the afternoon. We can schedule a call and we can discuss specifics. Beyond that, I don't think it's too early to start thinking about something for February. My only concern is I want to keep a relatively flexible schedule in case 960 does drop, because we will need to have a meeting probably dedicated to that. And I want to give fair warning to everyone. The minute that we have 960 drop into our formal agenda as a review item, this meeting is likely to get really big. I would fully expect to probably have 50 to 60 people in here. And so that's kind of been my thinking. I've been worried about that and making sure that we have order in the meeting. And that we're able to get through a full meeting in that way. There's a high likelihood it could be January, and that's my worry about planning these Know Your Rights, but that's my only reservation.
At least you can mute people, unlike a real life meeting.
Yes. Yeah, I will say, I feel like it's been a little bit more civil online. But, we'll see. I really am hopeful we'll be able to get through this process in a productive way, but, I've been at meetings that all of a sudden there was 20 people showed up and and everybody wants to speak their piece. And so that's something we have to be prepared for.
I think people need to have their Zoom etiquette. We need to put the Zoom etiquette rules up and displayed potentially.
Yeah, I wish there was a pin message function in the chat. That'd be nice.
I think you can pin the etiquette at the top with all links and stuff at the beginning. Raise your hand, respectfully let others speak. This doesn't have to be Trump Biden part 2 or 3 or.
Yeah. And so if I do make the agenda for that, there will be probably a 20-minute public comment period. And and, you know, and I'll try and limit it to 2 minutes per person to at least give 10 people a chance to talk. But we'll need to formally review it. So could be January, could be February. I honestly do not know. And this is kind of the unfortunate reality because they're supposed to give us 30 days with before final certification, so we can make these kinds of preparations so that we know exactly when our hearings will be, our committee meetings, and that we can plan them out and not have like a week's notice to plan out a meeting where we know there's going to be 50, 60 people coming and it's, you know, a giant mess.
Is there a I'd like to, I know some things about the project. I don't know as much as I should, and I don't want to have to cram when this drops into our lap. What is the authoritative source of everything there is to know right now about the project?
There really isn't one. I mean, there's what was the public kind of renderings of the project. But in terms of what our committee, we don't know what the affordability rate is. We don't know how many units. We don't know what the income levels are.
Okay.
So we really don't know anything. And that's been the frustration for many of the community members, is that, you know, this feels like a black box, like of just no information, and then it just gets sprung on the community. Right. So, yeah.
Okay. That even though that's not the answer I was hoping for, it's still actually a useful answer.
Yeah. I mean, there's been attempts. Alicia Boyd, I know, has filed FOILs. Other people have filed FOIL requests and they've gone unanswered.
Right. Okay.
So. Oh, Migdalia's in. Hi, Migdalia.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I just remember about the meeting.
It's okay. So all that being said, I'll keep the committee up to date. As soon as I know, you will know, and we'll figure out the best way to move forward with that particular hearing or meeting. Just to quickly fill you in, Migdalia, you know, we anticipate the 960 certification to happen some point soon, and we'll be reviewing the housing portion. And so, you know, we want to schedule a Know Your Rights training for January, but we also have to maintain flexibility because there's a chance it could be certified between now and January.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the fact that that meeting may have 50 or 60 people attending.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and so me and Maurice, we're going to speak tomorrow about working together to schedule the Know Your Rights training. So the topic for January is going to be deed theft and the lien sales. But I was wondering if anybody else had any other ideas, or if we wanted to do an updated tenants training in February, because at that point things may have started changing with regards to moratoriums and eviction help, and you know, I think it's such a fluid situation. You know, I'm open to ideas.
What became of the auctions? I know they were scheduled to happen in September and they got postponed, and then I think they got postponed again, but I don't know what, was it just canceled for the year?
Actually, let me double check.
It's not happening.
What are these auctions about?
Auctioning homeowners' homes.
So people who are behind on their property taxes,
Mhm.
they have a lien put on their property by the city, or is it the state? I'm not sure.
I mean, the finance, New York State. New
Okay.
York City.
And when that happens, if you're a certain amount past due, the government can take the deed to your property and auction it off to the public.
They are giving some of the homeowners an opportunity to see if they can find buyers, to see if they can buy, will buy their home before the auction starts.
Right.
Um,
And this happens every year. But this year, due to our crises, it was postponed a few times, and I don't know what ended up happening to it, whether it was just rescheduled again for a date I don't know about or canceled entirely for the year.
No, it's not. I think I have someone who's going through it right now, and she's been having virtual meetings with the court, she said. She's been trying to find an attorney, and of course, they're charging her a lot of money. So she's been her own lawyer. So it's just like going back and forth, but I think the actual event would probably take place in January. In the meantime, she has a little bit of time and she's trying to sell her house, see if she can find a buyer rather than have an auction out. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there have been stories of people losing their homes over just a few $100s of fines.
Yeah.
It's.
And there is money. I mean, the Department of State is willing to work with the homeowners as well as the water company, because I've been sitting in some webinars. They're willing to work with the homeowners. I think what happened is that some of the homeowners, as usual, some of us will not say nothing until the last minute, which is wrong and bad for us. And I mean, there's been a lot of webinars and I've been sitting in it. And again, they have reached out to the homeowners, come and talk to us, giving them a last opportunity. So I don't know how many people have taken advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some seniors have gotten heart attack. I heard some of them have died. Yeah.
I mean, some of it is just not an understanding of the ramifications.
Yeah.
Right.
And, I think it can come as a shock for a lot of people that the government can just come in and sell your home like that.
Is this something that needs, is this a problem that could be helped by some intervention, not financial intervention, just awareness intervention by the board, by the community, to proactively contact people, look at the auction list and go to them and say, are you aware this is happening? Do you have questions?
That's actually a really good idea. I know other tenants' rights groups and homeowners rights groups have done that. They've also used the lien list to stage protests on auction days.
Okay.
But it may be also a way to see proactively if there's any way the board can get involved to help.
Yeah, the list is easy to get.
Right.
I found it a few months ago. I don't remember where, but somewhere on a city website. But yeah.
Yeah, for the past couple of months in our weekly e-blast, we have been sharing the fact that the lien sales would be happening, and of course they would be postponed, but then we would refer, or you would post the link to NYC Department of Finance, for those who believe they might have a lien on their home, or to check in the system to see if there's a lien on their home and to receive assistance from there. But in terms of a proactive effort, as suggested by Mr. Burton, we have not done that as of yet. So if you guys are willing to make that a project, we can definitely, move forward instead of just like posting on a weekly basis, hey, the lien sale has been postponed, reach out to the Department of Finance for assistance and such. And, you know, there are housing agencies in our district that we partner with regularly, NHS Brooklyn, Impact Brooklyn, I'm trying to think, Legal Hand and so forth, that we, you know, we share their information and such. So it can be, you know, it can be a collaborative effort if you guys would like.
Yeah. I mean, I just found the list now, and this is as of the 9th of November. And there's easily probably 20 homes in our zip code, probably more depending. I mean, this is not what I could, oh, actually they have it here. They have the community board. 69 houses in our community board. So what can be done is running the lot number in conjunction with Acris. Probably write a script to do that, and get their contact information for the deed owner, but it may not be the same person. I could reach out to Crown Heights Tenants Union. I don't know if they also work on homeowners issues for lien sales, and see if they have anything like this. But that's a lot of people that are homeowners that are on.
This is long. It's a long list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this is your first time looking at the list, I just put it in the chat. And if it's your first time looking at it, the way I understand it is there are tax liens and then there are water fee liens.
Mm-hmm.
If you only have a water fee lien, it cannot be, your property cannot be auctioned. It's only if you have a tax lien as well. So that's why you have that column K. It says water debt only, yes or no. So if I gathered all of the properties in our zip code, what should I do? Who should I work with on this to move forward with some sort of communication effort?
I mean,
contact someone here.
I'm more than happy to assist. We could do, you know, if they have a spreadsheet version, and then, you know, it would probably take me an hour to figure out a script to pull Acris data for 69. I mean, it's 60, you know, 70 something houses. I guess it could be done in an afternoon.
Right.
But, you know, Acris is supposed to be really, although I think it might have a CAPTCHA code, so that might make it harder.
Well, wait, why would you need to do that? Because the one I'm looking at has the full address.
Right, it has the address of the individual.
Right, but Acris would have contact information.
Okay.
Like we have phone numbers from the copy of the.
Got it, right.
So we wouldn't, I mean, the other option is like to pick a day to like physically on a Saturday go to people's homes.
Right.
But I don't know how intrusive that would be, particularly right now, given, I mean, the other option, we could send mail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could send physical mail to each home advising them that they're on the tax lien list, and if they want to be connected with resources, to contact us.
That would be good. I can help out if you want me to.
Okay, that may be better. So then if we already had the addresses, it's a matter of printing out the letters and addressing them. Khalid, are you there?
Yes.
Would we be able to use the office's resources to send these letters?
Yeah, most definitely printing, and our mailing meter machine is still in operation. We just haven't used it in a while because we do mostly, well, we send emails and faxes these days. But yeah, we can definitely work on getting that done, identifying the addresses and you know, printing them and mailing them out. We should definitely check in with Mia, especially she would know better in terms of you know, if it's actually completely appropriate to use the mailing, our mailing services as such, but we definitely have the capabilities, most definitely.
Okay. And I'll also check in with Fred just to
Yes.
run it by him.
Yeah.
You know, but it's 70 letters, it's $35 worth of postage, and it's de minimis. So,
Right.
you know, I don't see the harm in making sure that people understand. So I think it's more of, I guess if that includes all the addresses, what we can do is just draft up a letter to approve to send next month.
Yes.
Does anybody want to take the lead on drafting that letter?
I can do that. I've said in plenty of webinars, and even add the letter together. If you want, you know, I can do that.
Yeah, I think it's best not to give any like actual advice, but to say, you know, we've seen you're on the tax sale lien list. We're concerned, and we want to make sure that you have access to resources.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. So let me make sure.
I can probably donate stamps. I have a bunch for a weird reason. So if that's useful.
Mr. Burton, you can hold off on a stamp because
Okay.
we have a mailing / postage machine. So
Okay.
like I said, I just want to make sure we can verify with me and Fred that we can actually use those resources for this purpose. And so there would be no need to
Okay.
you know, use any of your stamps or such like that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so recap, Migdalia will draft the letter. I will get in contact with Fred and Mia to make sure that we can use the community board office resources to send this letter. And we'll have a report back next, in January to approve the letter to be sent out. And then hopefully we'll have that out by then.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Thank you for bringing this up. This is actually a really great idea. This is not something I thought we could have done, but I think this is, if we can get the approval, I think this is a fantastic idea.
Great.
I wish it would be this easy to see who's in eviction proceedings.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see, but
Probably more private.
Yeah. Okay, if there's nothing else, that's all I have for the agenda for today.
Are you guys aware of the TP? Is it a TPT, the home transfer program? The Mayor de Blasio just put out. It took me a long time to say his name, say the name. That he just put out of home people that are going to be losing their co-ops and their co-ops and their homes to these nonprofit organizations. I'm trying to find the email because I have the email. It just came out last week. It was sent out. Okay.
Yeah.
You see it? Is the foreclosure in hundreds of homes in Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. And this is part of that TP, I'm trying to find the program. I think it's TPT transfer program. And it's terrible. I thought I sent it to you, Alejandra. I didn't send it to you.
The one that you sent, I apologize for that.
It's 420 properties that are being foreclosed.
Can you say that number again?
420 properties that are being foreclosed. And this is not just homeowners, these are co-op as well. Individuals that own co-ops that have fallen back. It's a third-party transfer program, the TPT program.
And they what, evicting them?
They're
Mhm.
going to lose it. Yeah, evidently nonprofit, these were properties that were assisted by nonprofit, and the nonprofit are going to be in charge, are going to take it back. They're giving it to the nonprofits to I guess to take it back from the individual. And these are people that fell back because of the COVID. They weren't able to, some of them retired, some of them are retiree. I know there's a whole building in Bushwick that most of the people that live there, they're Hispanic, they're retirees. They fell back in their rent mortgage. It's really sad. And he wants to move to foreclose on these hundreds of people. I would love to go to his house and protest. I know there were some protests going on. It's really sad.
Yeah. Oh, one of my colleagues at the New York City Bar was quoted on this, and he actually is a foreclosure specialist. So just like a quick TLDR of this program, it's an alternative to the tax lien auctions. And the difference is that New York City doesn't take full possession. They transfer the deed from one homeowner to either a nonprofit or another owner, but with restrictions. And so the understanding and the intent of this program was to stop basically, an apartment building owner from becoming delinquent, the building being sold, and then all the affordable housing basically being lost. And this way they could enforce the affordable housing. However, there's a lot of issues with the third-party transfer program and the way that it works, because it often doesn't give homeowners enough time, and even those with just 5 units, in a row house could end up losing their house and without being, even remotely compensated. And so there's a lot of issues with this. And particularly since it tends to concentrate, they even mentioned at the 35th City Council District, which is half of this community board, in this article. Here, let me actually post the article in the chat. I know you had mentioned this last year, Migdalia, when we were having.
They've been holding it off since last year. Putting it off, and apparently de Blasio, I guess he's on his way out, so what did he care? And no, the city doesn't want to be landlords. I guess that's why they're giving up all these lands to the developers. Ugh.
Yeah, I think the controversy wasn't necessarily around like single owner, from what I read here. It's the issue is that it's not like, there's a LLC that owns it and there's like, 60 units, since most of the units would be considered, it's the co-ops, like as you said, Migdalia, because all the individual homeowners lose their deed and essentially become tenants.
And they lose their equity on their homes. Ugh.
Yeah, that's something. That's something we should definitely look into. I'm going to put it on the formal agenda for next month. Let me make sure I write it down. Because we could pass a resolution calling for the ending of TPT for, for See, I think that the problem is with co-ops, there's no tenant protection. So if you end TPT entirely, it would go to a tax lien sale. And then all of those tenants who own wouldn't just be converted to a tenancy, they could be kicked out.
Mhm. Well, I know that some of the public officials were trying to fight this because this is old. I think this is when Koch or somebody was mayor back then.
Giuliani.
I think it was Koch. And what happened is the verbiage is old. The whole idea is old. And one of the things they wanted to rewrite this. They wanted to they were talking about it doesn't apply now. Whatever applied then, it doesn't apply now. So that was a standstill. So I don't know what's happening with that. I don't know if any other public officials have taken it up, but I know that they were talking about the verbiage and the whole idea that was old from back then.
Yeah.
And that it had to, have new verbiage or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, how much, I'm just curious, like how much money is owed in total?
I don't think it could be that much because most of the people that I've heard, all this happened recently with the COVID, but they've been trying to do this for a while now. This has been happening for a while. They've just been putting it off. And some of the public officials been trying to fight the fact that this happened. This was instituted so many years ago that it doesn't apply now, or they need to change. Even Tish got involved.
Yeah.
They need to change some of the verbiage or the idea, because it doesn't apply with now, with what's happening today when they instituted this TPT program. Actually, they just abolished the whole program, but.
Yeah, well, I think the tension is that without this program, it would go directly to a tax lien sale. And with a tax lien sale, the new owner, whoever buys it, which would likely be developers, could then just kick everyone out. TPT still requires that when it converts over, they convert it to tenants, which is still a huge problem because all of that equity is lost and people lose their homes in the deed, but they aren't put out on the street. Whereas a tax lien sale, they could actually be put on the street. So that was the compromise. The problem is, I think it's just, as a matter of public policy, just better just to forgive the debt.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, some of the co-ops owner, or even the homeowners, back then, it was the same nonprofit that helped them buy that apartment or that home. Because St. Nick's is one of them, and I worked for them before. So they own so many property, and they're working a lot they're working with the developers now. They're working with developers. I mean, who's not? They're working with the developers. So they were the same people that loaned this money to the individuals to be able to buy these co-ops and these homes. It's like, wow.
All right.
Sad.
It's definitely something to look into. Thank you for bringing this up, Migdalia.
Okay.
Did anybody else have anything else to add? Okay, with that being said, if there's nothing else to add, we can go ahead and adjourn for the evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Okay, so
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Blessings to everyone.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everybody.
You too. Good night. Thank you.